Hello there, and welcome to this Sleepy Science Zone. Tonight, you don't need to do anything at all. You don't need to concentrate, analyze, or remember. You've already done enough for today. For now, simply allow yourself to be here and allow your body to begin resting on its own. At around 10 o'clock at night, whether you are aware of it or not, your body enters a profound internal transition. Biology quietly changes its priorities. The systems that helped you think, move, react, and endure the day begin to stand down, while deeper systems, slower, older, and designed for restoration, start to take control. This shift is not psychological, and it is not imagined. It is measurable, electrical, chemical, and deeply human. As ambient light fades, specialized photoreceptors in your retina send their final signals to the brain's master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus in the hypothalamus. This tiny structure coordinates circadian rhythms across nearly every organ in your body. In response to darkness, it reduces wake-promoting signals and allows melatonin secretion to rise. Melatonin does not force sleep. Instead, it gently lowers the brain's threshold for alertness, creating the conditions where sleep can naturally unfold. As melatonin levels increase, neural activity begins to reorganize. Beta waves, associated with focused thinking and decision-making, gradually lose dominance, while alpha waves become more prominent, reflecting a state of relaxed awareness. Thoughts often become less sharp, less linear, and easier to release. At the same time, your autonomic nervous system begins a quiet handoff. The sympathetic branch, responsible for vigilance and action, slowly eases its grip. The parasympathetic branch moves forward, signaling safety at a physiological level. Heart rate variability improves. Blood pressure begins its natural nocturnal dip, a pattern strongly associated with long-term cardiovascular health. Breathing subtly deepens without conscious effort. Inside your muscles, motor neuron firing decreases and muscle tone begins to soften, especially in the postural muscles that worked all day to keep you upright. This is why shoulders drop slightly, the jaw loosens, and the body naturally seeks stillness. These changes are small, but they accumulate minute by minute. Your metabolism also changes direction. Glucose utilization slows, insulin sensitivity shifts, and the body redirects energy away from immediate output towards cellular maintenance. In the liver, enzyme systems involved in detoxification and lipid metabolism increase nighttime activity. Hepatocytes begin processing accumulated metabolic byproducts, preparing them for elimination during the following day. This work is metabolically demanding, and it is optimized during rest. Your immune system adopts a different rhythm as well. Research shows that during early nighttime hours, immune cells increase tissue surveillance while inflammatory signaling decreases. Repair and regulation quietly replace defense and reaction, reinforcing why sleep has always been essential to healing. Even your brain's waste clearance network, known as the glymphatic system, begins to prepare for deeper activation later in the night. Fluid dynamics subtly shift, setting the stage for the removal of metabolic debris that accumulates during waking hours. None of this requires effort from you. None of it depends on focus or intention. From 10 p.m. onward, your body is no longer optimizing for performance. It is optimizing for preservation. And as you remain here, listening or gently drifting, your biology is already moving toward rest, minute by minute, quietly preparing you for the deeper healing hours that will unfold as the night continues. As the night continues, your body begins to respond to one of its oldest signals of safety, the rhythm of your breath. Without instruction, without effort, breathing gradually slows. Each inhale becomes slightly deeper, each exhale a little longer, as carbon dioxide levels gently rise, and the brain interprets this as a sign that vigilance is no longer required. This change is subtle, but powerful. Longer exhalations activate the vagus nerve, a primary pathway of the parasympathetic nervous system. Signals travel from the chest and abdomen up toward the brainstem, informing it that the environment is stable. In response, neural circuits associated with threat detection begin to quiet. With each slow breath, muscle spindles embedded deep within your muscles reduce their firing rate. These sensory receptors, responsible for monitoring tension and position, report that the body is supported and still. The result is a gradual release of background muscular contraction, not a collapse, but a softening. Your diaphragm, a dome-shaped muscle beneath the lungs, moves more fully now. As it descends with each inhale, it gently massages the organs below, improving venous return and lymphatic flow. This mechanical motion supports circulation without increasing heart rate, allowing oxygen delivery to become more efficient while energy demand remains low. Inside the brain, regions involved in self-monitoring and narrative thought begin to disengage. Activity in the prefrontal cortex decreases, while connectivity within the default mode network shifts. This is often experienced as a drifting quality of thought, where memories, images, or fragments of ideas arise without effort and pass just as easily. The body temperature also begins its gradual descent. Peripheral blood vessels slightly dilate, allowing heat to dissipate through the skin. This cooling is not accidental. A lower core temperature facilitates the onset of deeper sleep stages later in the night, aligning cellular processes with circadian timing. Meanwhile, sensory input becomes less salient. Auditory processing changes so that sounds are registered without demanding attention. Visual imagery may appear behind closed eyes, faint patterns, colors, or impressions, reflecting the brain's increasing reliance on internal signals rather than external ones. At the hormonal level, cortisol continues its downward curve. This stress-associated hormone follows a strong circadian rhythm, reaching its lowest levels during the first half of the night. As cortisol falls, tissues throughout the body gain permission to repair, rebuild, and recalibrate. Even the connective tissues respond. Fascia, the web-like matrix surrounding muscles and organs, slowly hydrates as movement decreases. This improves tissue elasticity and reduces microtension accumulated during the day, contributing to the sensation of the body feeling heavier and more grounded. Nothing here requires conscious participation. Your breathing knows how to slow. Your nervous system knows how to listen. The body follows patterns refined over millions of years, responding to darkness and stillness with remarkable precision. As these processes continue, the boundary between effort and rest becomes less distinct. Thought loosens its grip. Sensation softens. Awareness widens, then gently narrows. You are not falling asleep yet, but you are moving closer. And with every quiet breath, your body is confirming what it already understands: that this moment is safe, that the night has arrived and that deeper rest is now possible. As the night deepens, your nervous system begins a slow and deliberate process of release. Throughout the day, it carried an invisible load, maintaining posture, scanning the environment, regulating emotion, adjusting to noise, light, and social demands. Even moments that felt calm required constant background activity. Now, in the quiet of late evening, that load begins to dissolve. At this point, parasympathetic dominance becomes more stable. Signals traveling through the vagus nerve increase in strength and consistency, informing the brainstem that the environment is no longer demanding. This reduces baseline activity in stress-related centers such as the amygdala, allowing vigilance to soften without effort. Electrophysiological studies show that neural firing patterns begin to slow and synchronize. Theta waves appear intermittently, weaving through waking rhythms. These slower oscillations are associated with internal attention, memory integration, and the earliest stages of sleep onset. Thought becomes less linear, less purposeful, more fluid. In the spinal cord, reflex thresholds rise. Muscles become less reactive to sudden inputs, which is why small sounds or movements no longer demand an immediate response. The body is still aware, but it is no longer prepared to act. Proprioceptive signals, information about body position and muscle tension, decrease in intensity. The brain receives fewer messages asking for correction or balance. This can create the sensation that the body's boundaries are softening, as if the edges of the self are gently blurring into the surface beneath you. On a cellular level, inhibitory neurotransmission increases. Gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA, becomes more influential across neural networks, reducing unnecessary excitation. Calcium dynamics within neurons shift toward patterns that support stability rather than rapid signaling, preparing synapses for overnight recalibration. Hormonal patterns continue to align with rest. Growth hormone secretion increases gradually, supporting tissue repair, immune regulation, and metabolic balance. This hormone is tightly linked to the nervous system's perception of safety and stillness, and its release reflects the body's confidence that rest is now possible. Memory networks begin their quiet work. The hippocampus starts replaying fragments of recent experience, not as conscious recall, but as neural patterns that help integrate information. Emotional intensity is reduced, allowing experiences to be stored without reactivating stress responses. Time perception also begins to change. The nervous system no longer tracks minutes precisely, because precision is no longer useful. Restoration has replaced performance as the body's priority. Nothing here needs your cooperation. You are not required to relax, to empty your mind, or to let go. Letting go is already happening. The nervous system understands that the day is complete, and it is slowly, carefully, releasing what is no longer needed. As the clock approaches 11, the brain crosses a subtle threshold. It is not yet asleep, but it is no longer fully oriented toward the external world. Attention begins to turn inward, guided by changes in connectivity, chemistry, and rhythm that unfold automatically with the night. Functional imaging shows reduced communication between sensory cortices and executive control regions. The brain becomes less interested in interpreting sights and sounds and more focused on internal signals. This shift allows awareness to disengage from the environment without abrupt disconnection. The thalamus, which acts as a sensory gateway, becomes more selective. Incoming sensory information is filtered more strongly before reaching the cortex. Sounds may still be heard, but they arrive without urgency, without narrative. They pass through rather than pulling attention outward. Neural synchronization increases across large-scale networks. Instead of fast, localized firing, neurons begin to coordinate over broader regions. This coherence lays the groundwork for sleep spindles and slow oscillations that will emerge later in the night, patterns essential for memory consolidation and neural recovery. Metabolic demand in the brain decreases slightly. Mitochondria shift activity toward maintenance and repair. Reactive byproducts of daytime neural firing begin to be neutralized, reducing oxidative stress and supporting long-term brain health. Astrocytes, the brain's supportive glial cells, increase regulation of neurotransmitter levels. Excess glutamate is cleared from synaptic spaces, preventing overstimulation and allowing neural circuits to settle. This biochemical quieting supports mental softness and reduced cognitive effort. Emotional processing networks also decouple. The linkage between emotional centers and narrative thought weakens, allowing feelings to be processed without story. This is one reason emotional experiences often feel less sharp at night, as if they are moving farther away. Cerebral blood flow subtly redistributes. Regions involved in planning, judgment, and self-monitoring receive less emphasis, while areas supporting autonomic regulation remain steady. The brain no longer prioritizes evaluation. It prioritizes balance. Awareness begins to thin. Thoughts arise without intention. Images drift without meaning, and moments of blankness appear between them. This is not loss of consciousness, but a gentle loosening of structure. The brain is rehearsing sleep. It is practicing disengagement, learning once again how to rest. And as this inward turn continues, there is nothing for you to do but remain or drift, while the night carries the mind and body toward the deeper, quieter work still ahead. As the night advances past 11, your body begins to lower defenses that were essential during the day, but are no longer needed now. This is not a shutdown. It is a recalibration, a shift from outward protection to inward care. Throughout waking hours, your immune system maintains a posture of readiness. White blood cells circulate with heightened alertness, inflammatory pathways remain primed, and tissues stay prepared for injury or infection. As darkness deepens, circadian signals instruct these systems to change tone. Vigilance gives way to regulation. Research shows that pro-inflammatory signaling decreases during the early night, while pathways associated with repair and cellular housekeeping increase. This shift allows tissues to heal without interference from unnecessary immune activation. It is one reason chronic inflammation is so closely tied to disrupted sleep patterns. At the same time, cortisol continues to decline toward its nocturnal low. Cortisol is essential for survival, but it is costly when elevated for too long. Its nighttime reduction permits anabolic processes, building rather than breaking down, to take priority. Cells across the body respond by shifting gene expression toward maintenance and repair. In connective tissues, fibroblasts increase activity related to collagen organization and extracellular matrix renewal. Micro damage accumulated through daily movement is addressed quietly, without pain signals or conscious awareness. The body does not rush this work. Precision matters more than speed. Within the cardiovascular system, endothelial cells lining the blood vessels experience reduced mechanical stress as heart rate and blood pressure remain lower. Nitric oxide signaling improves, supporting vascular flexibility and long-term cardiovascular health. This nightly pattern is one reason consistent sleep is associated with reduced risk of heart disease. Your kidneys also adjust their rhythm. Filtration rates decrease slightly, conserving fluid and electrolytes. Urine production slows, allowing uninterrupted rest. These changes are coordinated by hormonal signals that respond to both circadian timing and nervous system state. Even the skin participates in nighttime renewal. Blood flow to the skin increases modestly, supporting cell turnover and barrier repair. DNA repair mechanisms become more active, addressing damage caused by ultraviolet exposure and environmental stressors encountered during the day. Throughout all of this, sensory awareness continues to soften. The brain assigns less significance to internal sensations that might otherwise provoke attention. Small discomforts fade into the background, not because they disappear, but because interpretation has changed. The nervous system no longer treats them as signals requiring action. This stage of the night is characterized by trust. The body trusts that it is safe enough to invest resources inward. That trust is earned through darkness, stillness, and the absence of demand. You do not need to reassure the body. It already knows. Signals from the brainstem, the endocrine system, and peripheral tissues are aligned, confirming the same message again and again. The night is stable. The environment is quiet. Repair can continue. As this lowering of defenses progresses, the body becomes heavier, more settled. Boundaries blur further. Effort feels increasingly unnecessary. And without asking for permission, the physiology of rest continues to deepen, guiding you gently toward the next phase of the night's work. Approaching midnight, the boundary between wakefulness and sleep becomes less distinct. This is not a sudden drop, but a gradual thinning. Like mist forming between two landscapes, the brain does not cross all at once. It eases forward, testing the conditions, preparing to let go. Neural rhythms continue to slow. Theta activity becomes more consistent, and brief episodes of stage N1 sleep may begin to appear. During these moments, awareness fades partially, then returns, often without being noticed. Thoughts lose continuity. Images fragment. Time becomes elastic. The thalamus increases its role as a gatekeeper. Sensory information is filtered more strongly, preventing minor sounds or movements from reaching conscious awareness. This protective mechanism allows the brain to withdraw inward without vulnerability. Within the cortex, communication between distant regions becomes less complex. Networks that supported multitasking and rapid switching reduce their connectivity. Simpler, slower patterns dominate. This reduction in complexity is not a loss. It is a necessary step toward restoration. At the molecular level, adenosine, a byproduct of cellular energy use, has accumulated steadily throughout the day. By late evening, its concentration is high enough to exert strong sleep pressure. Adenosine binds to receptors that inhibit wake-promoting neurons, encouraging the brain to rest. Sleep will soon clear it away, resetting the cycle. Meanwhile, the glymphatic system begins to increase activity. Channels between brain cells widen slightly, allowing cerebrospinal fluid to circulate more freely. This prepares the brain for the deeper clearance processes that occur during slow-wave sleep, when metabolic waste is removed most efficiently. Body temperature continues its downward trajectory. This cooling supports enzyme activity optimized for nighttime repair and further stabilizes sleep onset. The sensation of warmth beneath blankets contrasts gently with the cooler core, reinforcing stillness. Muscle tone reaches one of its lowest points of the day. Signals from motor neurons are minimal, conserving energy and preventing unnecessary movement. This physical quieting mirrors the mental one. Conscious effort becomes difficult now, not because something is wrong, but because effort is no longer required. The brain is actively discouraging engagement, narrowing the field of awareness. You may notice moments where you forget what you were thinking. This is not distraction, it is transition. The mind is releasing its grip on continuity, allowing experience to dissolve into simpler forms. At this threshold, sleep is no longer something you are approaching. It is something that is approaching you. And as the night gently closes in, the body and brain continue their careful descent, guided by rhythms older than language, carrying you steadily toward the deeper healing hours that wait just ahead. As midnight arrives, the transition becomes unmistakable. The brain crosses into the first sustained layer of sleep, known as non-rapid eye movement stage 1, or N1. This stage is light, fragile, and easily reversible, yet it marks a decisive shift. Consciousness is no longer the brain's primary objective. Neural activity continues to slow and simplify. Alpha rhythms fade further, replaced by low-amplitude theta waves that spread across the cortex. These oscillations reflect reduced sensory integration and diminished executive control. Thoughts lose their ability to hold form. They begin to fragment, dissolve, or loop briefly before disappearing altogether. During this stage, the brain's predictive machinery relaxes. Systems that constantly anticipate what might happen next, essential for waking life, begin to disengage. This is why sudden muscle twitches, known as hypnic jerks, sometimes occur. As motor inhibition increases, the nervous system recalibrates the boundary between intention and action. Sensory perception changes in quality rather than intensity. Sounds may still be detected, but they no longer carry meaning. The brain registers them as neutral events, not signals requiring interpretation. Vision, already deprived of light, becomes internally generated. Faint shapes, colors, or fleeting scenes may appear without narrative. The vestibular system, which tracks balance and spatial orientation, also shifts. Reduced integration between vestibular signals and visual processing can create sensations of floating, drifting, or gentle falling. These experiences are common at sleep onset and reflect the brain's loosening grip on physical orientation. Physiologically, muscle tone continues to decrease. Inhibitory signals from the brainstem suppress motor neuron activity, preventing unnecessary movement. The body grows heavier, more settled into the surface beneath it. This heaviness is not fatigue, it is conservation. Heart rate slows further, and its variability increases, reflecting strong parasympathetic influence. Blood pressure remains low and stable. The cardiovascular system, enters an efficient maintenance mode, supplying organs without urgency. Respiration becomes more regular. Breaths are deeper, slower, and less variable. Chemoreceptors in the brainstem maintain balance automatically, allowing conscious control to disappear entirely. Inside the brain, adenosine continues to exert its influence, suppressing arousal networks. At the same time, melatonin levels remain elevated, reinforcing circadian alignment. These two systems, homeostatic sleep pressure and circadian timing, now work together, making wakefulness increasingly unlikely. This stage is brief but essential. It acts as a buffer, allowing the brain to disengage safely from the environment before deeper sleep begins. Without it, transitions would be abrupt, disorienting, and inefficient. You may pass through this stage without memory, or you may surface briefly, unaware that you are already asleep. Either way, the process continues uninterrupted. The body does not hesitate. The brain does not question. Midnight marks the moment when rest becomes the dominant state, and the night's deeper work prepares to unfold. As the night progresses beyond midnight, the brain moves toward deeper non-REM sleep, entering stage N2. This is the most abundant sleep stage across the night, and it serves as a bridge between light sleep and the profound restoration of slow-wave sleep. In N2 sleep, neural activity becomes more structured again, but slower, calmer, and more rhythmic. Sleep spindles appear, brief bursts of synchronized brain activity that ripple across the cortex. These spindles play a critical role in stabilizing sleep, shielding the brain from external disturbances. Alongside spindles, K-complexes emerge, large, slow waves that reflect the brain's ability to suppress arousal in response to stimuli. When a sound occurs, the brain does not wake. Instead, it generates a K-complex, effectively saying, "This is not important. Continue sleeping." These mechanisms represent active processes, not passive shutdown. The brain is working to protect sleep, recognizing it as a valuable and vulnerable state. Muscle tone remains low, though not fully inhibited. Small adjustments may occur, but movement is minimal. The body remains still for longer periods, conserving energy and supporting tissue repair. Heart rate and respiration are now slow and highly regular. The autonomic nervous system operates with remarkable efficiency, maintaining internal balance with minimal variability. Oxygen demand is reduced, allowing cells to focus on repair rather than output. Inside the brain, synaptic activity changes direction. During waking hours, synapses strengthen in response to learning and experience. At night, many of these connections are selectively weakened, a process known as synaptic downscaling. This prevents saturation, preserves efficiency, and prepares neural networks for new learning the next day. Memory consolidation becomes more active. The hippocampus communicates with the cortex, transferring information from temporary storage into long-term networks. This process occurs without awareness and without emotional charge, integrating experiences into a broader context. Metabolic waste clearance increases further. Cerebrospinal fluid circulates more freely through expanded interstitial spaces, carrying away byproducts of neural activity. This cleansing supports cognitive clarity and long-term brain health. The sense of self becomes faint. Awareness narrows to almost nothing, interrupted only by brief micro-arousals that rarely reach memory. Time loses structure entirely. Minutes and hours pass without distinction, This stage may last for extended periods, cycling with lighter and deeper phases throughout the night. It is not dramatic, but it is essential, the quiet backbone of healthy sleep. As the brain continues to slow the world, it commits fully to restoration. The external environment fades into irrelevance. The internal rhythm becomes steady, protected, and deeply calm. And without effort or intention, you are carried further into the night, towards the deeper layers where the most powerful healing unfolds. As the night settles firmly into its quietest hours, the body begins its most intensive phase of physical restoration. Around 1 o'clock in the morning, slow wave sleep, also called stage N3, becomes more prominent. This is the deepest form of non-REM sleep, and it is here that the body's capacity to repair itself reaches its peak. Brain activity slows dramatically. Large, synchronized delta waves sweep across the cortex, reflecting widespread neuronal silence, punctuated by brief, coordinated bursts of activity. In these moments of silence, neurons reduce firing to their lowest levels of the entire day, conserving energy and allowing cellular repair mechanisms to proceed uninterrupted. Growth hormone secretion reaches its highest levels during this stage. Released in pulses from the pituitary gland, growth hormone stimulates protein synthesis, tissue repair, and cellular regeneration. Muscles repair microscopic damage accumulated during daily movement. Bones reinforce their structure. Connective tissues strengthen and reorganize. The immune system becomes particularly active now. While inflammatory signaling remains low, immune cells increase their ability to repair tissues and regulate long-term defenses. This is when the body corrects subtle imbalances that went unnoticed during the day, restoring internal equilibrium. The glymphatic system reaches full activation. Channels between brain cells widen significantly, allowing cerebrospinal fluid to wash through neural tissue. Metabolic waste products, including beta amyloid and other byproducts of neuronal activity, are carried away efficiently. This nightly cleansing is one of the reasons deep sleep is so strongly associated with long-term brain health. Blood flow to the brain becomes slower but more uniform. Oxygen demand is reduced, and energy usage reaches its lowest point. The heart continues its steady, economical rhythm, supporting organs without fluctuation. Blood pressure remains low, giving blood vessels a prolonged period of rest. Breathing is slow, deep, and regular. The respiratory centers in the brainstem maintain balance effortlessly. Carbon dioxide levels rise slightly, enhancing cerebral blood flow and supporting optimal oxygen delivery without increasing heart rate. Muscle tone is minimal. Voluntary movement is nearly absent, allowing complete physical stillness. The body's weight feels fully surrendered to gravity, supported by the surface beneath it without resistance. Conscious awareness is now almost entirely offline. There is no narrative, no sense of self, no tracking of time. If dreams occur at this stage, they are typically abstract, fragmentary, and emotionally neutral. Reflections of memory consolidation rather than story. This depth of sleep is fragile and precious. Even small disruptions can reduce its duration, which is why consistent sleep schedules and quiet environments are so important. When uninterrupted, this stage provides the foundation for physical resilience, immune strength, and metabolic balance. The body does not rush this process. It lingers where healing is most efficient, guided by rhythms shaped over evolutionary time. Here, in the deepest quiet of the night, restoration is not something you do. It is something that happens to you. As slow-wave sleep continues, the mind releases one of its last attachments to waking life, the sense of time. Around this hour, internal clocks that normally track duration fall silent. There is no before, no after, no anticipation of morning. Experience becomes timeless. Neural networks responsible for temporal awareness reduce activity dramatically. The prefrontal cortex, which organizes events into sequences, is largely inactive. Without this structure, consciousness cannot form a timeline. Moments do not follow one another. They simply dissolve. Within the hippocampus, memory replay continues at a deeper level. Experiences from the day are broken down into their essential components and integrated into long-term storage. Emotional charge is stripped away, allowing memories to settle without tension. This process helps explain why problems often feel smaller or clearer after a full night's sleep. Synaptic downscaling continues throughout the cortex. Connections that were strengthened unnecessarily during the day are gently weakened, preserving overall network efficiency. Important pathways remain intact, while redundant noise is cleared away. This nightly recalibration prevents cognitive overload and supports learning capacity. At the cellular level, DNA repair mechanisms are highly active. Cells address minor damage caused by oxidative stress, environmental exposure, and normal metabolic activity. Antioxidant systems neutralize free radicals, protecting tissues from long-term wear. Hormonal rhythms remain aligned with restoration. Melatonin continues to circulate, supporting circadian stability and antioxidant activity. Cortisol remains low, preventing interference with repair processes. Insulin levels are minimal, allowing fat metabolism and cellular renewal to proceed efficiently. The autonomic nervous system remains firmly parasympathetic. There is no readiness to act, no monitoring for threat. The body trusts the environment completely. This trust allows energy to be invested inward without hesitation. The cardiovascular system benefits from prolonged stillness. Endothelial cells experience reduced shear stress, and arterial walls maintain elasticity. These nightly patterns contribute to long-term cardiovascular resilience. The digestive system is nearly silent now. Motility is minimal, and energy is conserved. Nutrients absorbed earlier are redistributed to tissues where they are needed most. There is no awareness of breathing, no awareness of the body, no awareness of the self. Consciousness, as experienced during the day, has dissolved into a state of deep physiological presence without perception. This is not absence. It is fullness without awareness. Here, time has no meaning. The night stretches without edges. And while the mind rests beyond memory, the body continues its careful, deliberate work, restoring balance, strengthening systems, and preparing quietly for the hours that still lie ahead. As the night moves deeper into its most protected hours, restoration shifts to the smallest and most fundamental levels of the body. Around 2:30 in the morning, while consciousness remains fully withdrawn, cells throughout your body engage in precise, methodical repair that can only happen in this state of deep rest. Within each cell, energy production slows just enough to redirect resources toward maintenance. Mitochondria adjust their output, favoring efficiency over speed. This reduces the accumulation of metabolic byproducts and supports long-term cellular health. Enzymes responsible for repair become more active, correcting minor structural imperfections that arise naturally during waking life. Protein synthesis increases in a targeted way. Cells replace damaged proteins, refold misaligned structures, and reinforce essential components of their internal machinery. This process is especially active in muscle tissue, connective tissue, and organs that carry high metabolic demands, such as the liver and kidneys. DNA repair mechanisms are also fully engaged. Throughout the day, DNA strands experience tiny breaks caused by normal metabolism, environmental exposure, and oxidative stress. During deep sleep, specialized enzymes identify and repair these breaks with remarkable accuracy. This nightly maintenance preserves genetic stability and reduces long-term cellular aging. The immune system continues its quiet recalibration. Rather than mounting aggressive defenses, immune cells focus on cleanup and regulation. Old or damaged cells are identified and removed through programmed processes, making room for healthier replacements. This balance between removal and renewal supports immune resilience without unnecessary inflammation. Inside the brain, synaptic maintenance continues. Microglia, the brain's immune support cells, prune weak or unnecessary synaptic connections. This pruning is not destructive. It refines neural networks, preserving clarity and efficiency. Learning from the day is stabilized, while noise is gently removed. Blood flow remains slow and steady. The heart works with minimal strain, delivering oxygen and nutrients where they are needed without urgency. Blood vessels enjoy prolonged periods of low pressure, which supports vascular repair and flexibility. Breathing remains deep and even. The respiratory centers maintain balance without cortical involvement, allowing gas exchange to remain optimal while the mind stays entirely disengaged. There is no sensation of effort, no signal of fatigue, no awareness of repair. These processes unfold in silence, guided by biological rhythms refined across evolution. The body does not rush. Precision matters more than speed. This hour of the night is often overlooked, yet it is foundational. Many of the benefits people attribute to good sleep are built here, quietly, invisibly, and without memory. Nothing interrupts this work unless the body is forced back into wakefulness. When allowed to continue, these cellular processes accumulate benefit night after night, supporting resilience, recovery, and long-term health. Here, at the smallest scale, healing is not dramatic. It is exact, and it continues, cell by cell, while the night holds everything still. As the night approaches its midpoint, the brain turns its attention toward one of its most delicate tasks, emotional regulation. Around 3 o'clock in the morning, neural systems involved in emotion, memory, and meaning undergo quiet reorganization, entirely outside conscious awareness. During waking life, emotional experiences are tightly linked to context, narrative, and immediate reaction. The amygdala, hippocampus, and prefrontal cortex interact constantly, attaching feeling to memory and guiding behavior. During deep sleep, these relationships change. Activity in the amygdala is reduced, but not silent. Emotional signals are processed without triggering physiological stress responses. At the same time, communication between the amygdala and prefrontal cortex is altered, allowing emotional memories to be revisited without reactivating fear or urgency. The hippocampus continues replaying memory fragments, but now with less emotional intensity. Experiences are integrated into long-term storage in a more neutral form. This process helps explain why events that felt overwhelming during the day often feel more manageable after sleep. Neurochemical conditions during this hour support emotional decoupling. Levels of norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter associated with alertness and stress, are extremely low. This absence creates a safe window in which emotional material can be processed without reinforcing anxiety. At the same time, serotonin and other modulatory systems maintain stability, supporting mood regulation. These conditions allow the brain to recalibrate emotional tone, gently nudging it back toward balance. Dream activity may occur, though it often remains unremembered. When dreams arise during this phase, they are less narrative-driven and more symbolic, reflecting the brain's internal sorting rather than conscious storytelling. Images may appear briefly and dissolve without coherence. Physiologically, the body remains deeply at rest. Muscle tone is minimal, heart rate steady, breathing slow and regular. The nervous system remains firmly parasympathetic, ensuring that emotional processing does not trigger physical arousal. This emotional reorganization is one of sleep's most protective functions. Without it, emotional responses would accumulate intensity across days, gradually overwhelming regulatory systems. Sleep provides a nightly reset, allowing feelings to be integrated rather than stored raw. There is no awareness of this work, no sensation, no signal. Yet its effects are often felt the next day, as clarity, emotional distance, or a quiet sense that something is softened. As the night continues, the brain maintains this gentle recalibration, weaving emotional experience into memory without strain, preparing the mind to wake lighter, steadier, and more resilient when morning eventually arrives. As the night stretches onward, the body enters a phase of fine hormonal tuning. Around 3:40 in the morning, endocrine systems engage in delicate adjustments that depend on deep rest and minimal disturbance. These changes are subtle, yet they influence mood, metabolism, immunity, and energy for the entire following day. Hormones do not act alone. They operate in coordinated patterns, responding to circadian signals generated by the brain's master clock. At this hour, the balance between anabolic and catabolic processes favors restoration. Signals that promote repair, storage, and regulation are prioritized, while those associated with action and alertness remain suppressed. Growth hormone continues to circulate in pulses, supporting tissue maintenance and metabolic stability. At the same time, prolactin levels remain elevated, contributing to immune regulation and cellular repair. These hormones work quietly, without sensation, guiding cells toward balance. Cortisol, still near its lowest point, allows inflammatory pathways to remain calm. This low cortisol window is critical. It permits insulin sensitivity to reset, supports fat metabolism, and reduces interference with immune and repair processes. Disrupting sleep during this phase can prematurely raise cortisol, interrupting the body's internal rhythm. Leptin and ghrelin, hormones that influence appetite, are also being recalibrated. Leptin signaling strengthens, reinforcing satiety, while ghrelin remains suppressed. This nighttime balance helps regulate hunger cues the next day, illustrating how sleep directly shapes eating behavior without conscious involvement. Thyroid hormone activity remains steady but optimized for maintenance rather than output. Cellular metabolism proceeds at a sustainable pace, avoiding unnecessary strain. This supports long-term metabolic health and energy regulation. Sex hormones, including estrogen and testosterone, are also influenced by sleep architecture. While their primary secretion patterns vary across individuals, deep sleep supports their balance and sensitivity at target tissues. This connection explains why chronic sleep disruption can affect reproductive health, muscle maintenance, and mood. Throughout these hormonal adjustments, the nervous system remains deeply parasympathetic. There is no readiness for action, no anticipation of waking. The body trusts the night to remain stable, allowing endocrine signals to unfold without interruption. Physically, the body remains heavy and still. Breathing is slow and regular. Heart rate remains low and consistent. There is no awareness of these hormonal shifts, yet they shape how the body will feel hours later. This phase of the night is about calibration rather than repair alone. Systems are being tuned, not rebuilt. Small adjustments accumulate, aligning internal chemistry with circadian timing. Here, in the quietest hours before dawn, balance is restored not through effort, but through absence of demand. The body listens only to its internal rhythms, refining itself gently, patiently, and precisely. As the night gradually moves past its deepest point, the brain begins an almost imperceptible shift. Around 4:20 in the morning, restoration continues, but preparation quietly begins. This is not waking, it is orientation, the earliest hint that the cycle will eventually turn back toward the day. Neural activity remains slow and synchronized, yet subtle changes appear. Periods of deep, slow-wave sleep shorten slightly, while lighter non-REM stages become more frequent. This pattern reflects the brain's adaptive design, ensuring that restoration remains effective while readiness slowly increases. Circadian signals begin to adjust. The suprachiasmatic nucleus reduces its suppression of wake-promoting pathways, though melatonin levels remain elevated. This gradual shift prevents abrupt transitions, allowing the brain to approach wakefulness gently rather than forcefully. Within the brainstem, arousal systems remain quiet but responsive. They are not active, yet they are no longer completely disengaged. This intermediate state supports flexibility, ensuring that the brain can respond if necessary without sacrificing ongoing restoration. Memory consolidation continues, but the emphasis shifts. Long-term storage processes slow, while integration across networks becomes more prominent. Information is woven into broader cognitive frameworks, supporting coherence and meaning without conscious recall. Emotionally, regulation remains stable. Stress-related neurotransmitters stay low, preventing reactivation of vigilance. Emotional tone is held in a neutral, balanced range, preparing the mind to re-enter waking life without carrying excess emotional weight. Physiological systems remain deeply calm. Muscle tone is minimal. Heart rate and breathing are steady. Body temperature remains low, preserving optimal conditions for continued repair. Awareness does not return yet. There is no sense of anticipation or intention. The brain's preparations occur entirely beneath consciousness, guided by internal timing rather than external cues. This stage represents transition without disruption. The the body does not rush toward morning. It simply begins to align, ensuring that when waking eventually arrives, it will feel natural rather than forced. For now, the night still holds you. Restoration continues. Preparation remains gentle and distant. And as the hours quietly turn, the brain balances two truths at once: the need to remain deeply at rest and the knowledge that the cycle of night will, in time, softly give way to day. As the night moves closer to dawn, the body enters a subtle rehearsal phase. Around 4:50 in the morning, internal systems begin testing the transition toward wakefulness, not by activating it, but by gently adjusting thresholds. This rehearsal ensures that waking, when it eventually happens, will feel smooth rather than abrupt. Hormonal signaling begins to shift almost imperceptibly. Cortisol, which has remained low for most of the night, starts a slow and gradual rise. This increase is not a stress response. It is a circadian signal, carefully timed to support alertness later in the morning. At this hour, cortisol levels are still low enough to preserve rest, but high enough to begin restoring responsiveness. Body temperature, which reached its lowest point earlier in the night, stabilizes. It does not rise yet, but it stops falling. This plateau supports continued sleep while preparing metabolic systems for increased activity in the hours ahead. Within the brain, sleep architecture changes again. Periods of deep, slow-wave sleep become shorter, while lighter non-REM stages appear more frequently. These lighter stages allow the brain to maintain restorative processes while increasing sensitivity to internal cues. Neural circuits involved in sensory processing regain a small amount of readiness. Sounds, if present, may briefly register more clearly, though they still rarely reach conscious awareness. The thalamus remains selective, but its filtering is no longer at maximum intensity. The autonomic nervous system continues to favor parasympathetic dominance, yet sympathetic pathways begin to regain tone. This balance supports stability without urgency, ensuring that the body does not remain overly suppressed as morning approaches. Muscle tone remains low, but postural muscles regain minimal baseline activity. This prevents stiffness and supports circulation without disturbing sleep. Small, unconscious adjustments may occur, redistributing pressure and improving comfort. In the cardiovascular system, heart rate remains slow, but responsiveness improves. Blood vessels maintain flexibility, and circulation prepares to accommodate increased demand later in the morning. Metabolically, cells remain focused on maintenance. Glycogen stores in the liver begin subtle adjustments, ensuring glucose availability for the upcoming day without triggering hunger or arousal. Consciousness remains absent. There is no awareness of preparation, no anticipation of waking. The mind stays disengaged while the body quietly aligns itself with the approaching transition. This rehearsal phase is essential. Without it, waking would feel jarring, disorienting, or exhausting. Instead, the body practices readiness while preserving rest, guided entirely by internal timing. The night has not ended, but the cycle is turning. And as this gentle rehearsal continues, sleep remains intact, protected, and deep enough to sustain restoration through the final quiet hours before dawn. As the clock moves beyond 5, the brain begins to lighten its grip on the deepest layers of sleep. Around 5:20 in the morning, the architecture of rest subtly reorganizes once more. This is not awakening. It is easing, a gradual loosening rather than a release. Slow-wave sleep becomes less dominant now. Delta waves appear less frequently, replaced by mixed-frequency activity that reflects lighter non-REM stages and brief transitions toward REM sleep. These shifts allow the brain to maintain restoration while increasing flexibility. REM sleep episodes may lengthen during this part of the night. During REM, the brain becomes more metabolically active, though the body remains largely immobilized. This stage supports emotional integration, creativity, and associative thinking. Dreams, if they occur, are more vivid and narrative-driven, though they are still rarely remembered. Neurochemical conditions change again. Acetylcholine activity increases during REM periods, supporting cortical activation, while norepinephrine remains suppressed, preventing full alertness. This unique combination allows mental activity without physical movement. The glymphatic system remains active, though its peak has passed. Waste clearance continues at a slower pace, completing the night's cleanup rather than initiating new cycles. This ensures that the brain finishes restoration without sacrificing readiness. Circadian signals continue their gradual shift. Melatonin levels begin a slow decline, though they remain high enough to sustain sleep. The brain's master clock coordinates this timing precisely, ensuring alignment with environmental light that has not yet arrived. Physiological systems remain calm. Heart rate is slightly more variable, breathing slightly less uniform, yet both remain slow and steady. Muscle tone stays low, preventing movement and preserving rest. Awareness remains absent or fragmented. Brief micro-arousals may occur, but they dissolve quickly without forming memory. The mind remains largely untethered from narrative thought. This phase of the night balances two needs: to complete restoration and to prepare for return. The brain does not rush either process. It allows overlap, ensuring continuity rather than disruption. Sleep is no longer at its deepest, but it is still effective. The body remains protected within it, supported by rhythms that have guided human rest for countless generations. And as this gentle lightening continues, the final chapters of the night approach, not with urgency, but with quiet readiness, carrying the body and mind steadily toward morning without disturbance. As the night approaches its final stretch, the mind enters a gentler, more fluid state of sleep. Around 5:50 in the morning, REM cycles often become longer and more frequent. This stage carries a different quality from the deep stillness earlier in the night. The body remains quiet and protected, while the mind moves softly through internal landscapes. During REM sleep, brain activity resembles wakefulness in speed, but not in purpose. Networks involved in imagination, emotion, and association become active, while systems responsible for logic, judgment, and self-control remain subdued. This combination allows thoughts to flow freely without constraint, forming dreams that feel vivid yet disconnected from reality. Neurochemically, acetylcholine activity increases, supporting cortical activation and internal imagery. At the same time, norepinephrine and serotonin remain low, preventing vigilance or emotional reactivity. This unique balance allows emotional material to surface without triggering stress responses. Dreams at this stage often reflect emotional integration rather than memory replay. The brain is not revisiting events as they happened, but reshaping their emotional tone. Experiences that carried tension may reappear symbolically, stripped of urgency, softened by distance. This process supports emotional resilience and creative insight, even when dreams are not remembered. Physiologically, the body remains largely immobilized. Brainstem mechanisms inhibit motor neurons, preventing the physical enactment of dreams. Muscle tone is minimal, preserving stillness and conserving energy. Small muscle twitches may occur, but they remain isolated and brief. Breathing becomes slightly more variable during REM sleep. Respiratory rhythm reflects changes in dream content rather than metabolic demand. Heart rate may fluctuate gently, responding to internal imagery without external cause. These variations remain within safe bounds, guided by autonomic regulation. The sensory world remains distant. External sounds may be incorporated into dreams rather than waking the sleeper. The brain maintains its protective barrier, prioritizing internal processing over environmental awareness. Time perception is absent. Dreams unfold without sequence or duration. Moments stretch, collapse, or repeat without logic. The mind does not measure, it experiences. This phase of the night supports cognitive flexibility. Neural connections across distant brain regions strengthen temporarily, allowing ideas to combine in novel ways. This is one reason insight and creativity are often enhanced after sleep. There is no effort involved in this drifting. The mind moves where it needs to go, guided by internal signals rather than intention. Whether dreams are remembered or not, their work is done beneath awareness. As this final dream-rich phase continues, the mind gently completes its emotional and associative processing, preparing for the clarity that often accompanies waking. The night is nearly complete now, but it does not end abruptly. It softens and loosens, allowing the mind to wander freely one last time before morning arrives. As the first hints of morning approach, the body begins to align with a world that has not yet announced itself. Around 6:10 in the morning, circadian systems respond not to light itself, but to internal timing shaped by generations of biological rhythm. Melatonin levels continue their gradual decline. This decrease is not sudden. It unfolds slowly, allowing sleep to remain intact while readiness increases beneath the surface. The brain's master clock adjusts its signaling, reducing inhibition of wake-promoting pathways without activating them fully. Cortisol levels rise a little more now, still far below daytime levels, yet sufficient to support metabolic readiness. This rise helps mobilize energy stores, increase blood sugar availability, and prepare cardiovascular responses without causing arousal. Body temperature begins its gentle ascent. This warming supports enzymatic activity and cellular responsiveness, signaling that the phase of deepest repair has passed. The increase is subtle, often unnoticed, yet essential for a smooth transition into wakefulness. In the brain, REM episodes may conclude with brief, lighter sleep stages. These transitions increase sensitivity to internal cues, such as bladder fullness or changes in breathing, without fully restoring consciousness. The brain is rehearsing awareness without engaging it. Muscle tone increases slightly, though full control does not return yet. Postural muscles regain baseline activation, supporting circulation and joint comfort. Small movements may occur as the body redistributes pressure accumulated during the night. The cardiovascular system becomes more responsive. Heart rate variability remains healthy, but the system prepares to accommodate standing, movement, and interaction with gravity. Blood vessels adjust tone gradually, reducing the risk of sudden drops in blood pressure upon waking. Digestive processes begin to stir. Hormonal signals prepare the gastrointestinal tract for activity later in the morning, without triggering hunger or discomfort. Energy remains conserved until waking occurs. Awareness remains fragmented or absent. Dreams may fade. Thought does not yet form narrative. The mind remains uncommitted, resting lightly between states. This phase is about alignment, not action. The body does not rush toward the day. It simply positions itself, ensuring that when waking eventually happens, it will feel natural rather than forced. The night has done its work. Restoration is complete. Preparation is gentle and precise. And as the unseen light draws closer, the body and mind remain held in a quiet balance, still asleep, yet quietly ready, suspended in the final calm moments before morning fully arrives. As the night reaches its final moments, the brain begins a careful reconnection with the body. Around 6:30 in the morning, sleep is still present, but its texture changes. The boundary between internal awareness and physical sensation becomes thinner, allowing signals from the body to re-enter consciousness without urgency. Neural activity continues to shift toward lighter sleep stages. Communication between the brainstem, thalamus, and cortex increases in subtle ways, restoring coordination between perception and movement. This does not mean wakefulness has arrived. It means the systems that were temporarily disengaged are beginning to synchronize again. Proprioceptive feedback grows slightly stronger. The brain becomes faintly aware of the body's position, the weight of limbs, the surface beneath you, the distribution of pressure. These signals remain soft and backgrounded, serving as orientation rather than instruction. The vestibular system also regains sensitivity. Balance and spatial orientation are recalibrated gently, preparing the body for eventual movement. This process happens quietly, ensuring that standing later will feel stable rather than disorienting. Breathing patterns become a little more variable now, reflecting the brain's increasing responsiveness to internal cues. Respiratory centers remain automatic, but cortical influence begins to return, allowing awareness of breath to re-emerge without control. Heart rate increases slightly, though it remains calm and regular. Blood pressure begins a slow upward trend, guided by circadian timing rather than stress. This prepares the cardiovascular system for the demands of posture and movement later in the morning. In the brain, networks responsible for self-awareness begin to reassemble. The default mode network, which supports introspection and sense of self, becomes more active. Thoughts may appear briefly, fragments without narrative, then dissolve again. The mind is testing coherence without committing to it. Memory systems also adjust. The hippocampus completes its overnight consolidation, reducing replay activity and stabilizing stored information. Emotional tone remains regulated, free of the intensity that often accompanies waking stress. Muscle tone increases just enough to support circulation and joint health. Small adjustments may occur, shifting position slightly or releasing pressure points developed overnight. These movements are reflexive, not intentional. Importantly, the nervous system remains balanced. Parasympathetic influence is still strong, preventing abrupt arousal. Sympathetic pathways are available but not dominant, ensuring that waking, when it occurs, will feel smooth. This phase of the night is about reconnection without activation. The brain and body are finding each other again, aligning perception, movement, and awareness gradually. You are still asleep, but the system that supports wakefulness is quietly assembling itself. There is no need to hurry. The body knows the timing. The brain follows rhythms refined through countless cycles of night and morning. And as this gentle reconnection continues, the final transition draws closer. Not as a command, but as a natural unfolding. As the clock approaches 7, the process of waking begins to emerge. Not as an interruption, but as a continuation of the night's rhythm. Around 6:50 in the morning, sleep loosens its hold, allowing awareness to surface gradually, without shock or resistance. Melatonin levels have now declined enough to release inhibition on wake-promoting systems. At the same time, cortisol reaches a level that supports alertness without stress. This balance allows consciousness to return gently, aligned with physiology rather than forced by alarm or urgency. Body temperature continues to rise slightly, supporting metabolic readiness. Cells respond by increasing responsiveness, preparing muscles and organs for movement. This warming is subtle, often perceived only as comfort rather than change. In the brain, sensory processing resumes priority. The thalamus opens its gates a little wider, allowing external sounds, light, and sensation to reach the cortex. These inputs are registered softly at first, without demand. Visual awareness may return even with eyes closed. Light through eyelids is detected and interpreted as morning, reinforcing circadian alignment. The brain integrates this information seamlessly, without conscious effort. Muscle tone returns gradually. Control over movement becomes available, though full engagement is not yet required. The body feels capable, supported, and ready rather than tense or rushed. Cognitive networks responsible for attention and planning reassemble slowly. Thoughts regain structure, but remain calm. There is space between them. The mind does not need to rush toward tasks or decisions. Emotionally, the brain maintains the balance achieved overnight. Stress responses remain low. Mood regulation systems are stable, allowing waking to occur without emotional residue from the day before. Breathing becomes consciously noticeable again. The chest rises and falls with awareness, not control. Heart rate responds smoothly to these changes, maintaining equilibrium. This moment, when waking emerges naturally, is the outcome of the entire night's work. Repair, regulation, integration, and preparation converge here, creating a transition that feels coherent rather than abrupt. There is no sharp line between sleep and wakefulness. One dissolves into the other. If you wake now, you do so supported by a body that has restored itself and a brain that is reorganized quietly through the night. If you drift a little longer, the process continues without interruption. Either way, the night has completed its cycle, and as awareness returns, softly, steadily, it carries with it the calm of deep rest, the balance of restored systems, and the quiet readiness to move into the day ahead. In the final moments, before waking fully, consciousness returns in fragments rather than as a single event. Awareness does not switch on. It seeps back in gently, like light spreading across a quiet room. Around this time, the brain allows perception to reform without urgency, ensuring that the transition feels coherent rather than abrupt. Neural networks responsible for awareness synchronize gradually. The thalamus increases sensory relay, but only partially. Sounds may be noticed without interpretation. Sensations from the body, warmth, pressure, the softness or firmness of the surface beneath you, become faintly present. These signals are not yet demands. They are orientation. The default mode network becomes more active now, supporting a sense of self without activating evaluation or judgment. Thoughts may arise briefly, unstructured and incomplete, then fade. There is awareness without narrative, presence without planning. Memory systems finalize their overnight integration. Information consolidated during sleep is now stable, woven into long-term networks. Emotional charge remains low. Experiences from the day before feel distant, neutral, no longer urgent. Physiologically, the autonomic nervous system finds balance. Parasympathetic influence still dominates, preventing sudden arousal, while sympathetic readiness is available but restrained. Heart rate and blood pressure increase slightly, enough to support awareness without tension. Breathing becomes consciously noticeable again, not because it changes, but because cortical awareness returns. The rhythm remains slow and even, carrying a sense of calm into waking consciousness. Muscle tone increases gently. Control over movement is available, though the body does not demand it. Limbs feel present, supported, capable without effort. Small adjustments may occur instinctively, restoring comfort and circulation. Visual processing begins to re-engage. Even with eyes closed, the brain registers brightness through eyelids. This signal reinforces circadian alignment, confirming that morning has arrived. Importantly, stress systems remain quiet. The amygdala remains regulated. There is no threat, no urgency, no need for immediate action. This allows waking awareness to form without emotional load. This phase is fragile. External interruptions, alarms, abrupt noise, sudden movement can override this gentle return. When allowed to unfold naturally, however, it creates a foundation for a calm morning. Awareness now has shape, but not momentum. The mind exists without direction, without demand. It simply is. The night has not ended suddenly. It has delivered you here carefully, assembling consciousness piece by piece. And as these first moments of awareness stabilize, the body remains grounded in rest, allowing you to wake not as a reaction, but as a continuation of balance. As waking becomes complete, the body performs a final check, not consciously, but biologically. Around 7 in the morning, systems throughout the body confirm readiness for the day ahead. This confirmation does not require energy or intention. It unfolds automatically, guided by circadian precision. Cortisol reaches its morning peak, supporting alertness, focus, and metabolic readiness. This rise is not stress. It is preparation. It mobilizes energy, sharpens attention, and stabilizes blood pressure for upright posture. Body temperature continues its gentle ascent, supporting muscle function, enzyme activity, and responsiveness. The feeling of warmth is not stimulation. It is readiness. The cardiovascular system adjusts smoothly. Heart rate and blood pressure increase just enough to support standing and movement without strain. Blood flow redistributes, ensuring oxygen delivery to muscles and the brain. Digestive systems awaken gradually. Gastric motility increases. digestive hormones are released, and the gastrointestinal tract prepares for intake without urgency. Hunger signals may appear softly, reflecting alignment rather than demand. In the brain, attentional networks regain full coordination. Focus becomes available without tension. Memory retrieval functions efficiently, supported by the consolidation completed overnight. Thought regains structure, but remains flexible. Emotion regulation remains stable. The balance achieved during sleep carries forward, reducing reactivity and preserving clarity. Stress responses remain proportional, not automatic. Muscle tone returns fully. Coordination improves. Movement feels possible rather than forced. The body recognizes gravity again and responds with strength rather than resistance. Sensory systems open completely now. Vision sharpens. Sound gains clarity. Touch becomes precise. The environment re-enters awareness without overwhelming it. This moment, full waking, is not a departure from rest. It is its outcome. The night has prepared the body and mind to engage with the day from a place of balance. There is no residue of the night's work. Repair, regulation, and integration are complete. What remains is readiness. If you rise now, you do so supported by systems that have restored themselves fully. If you linger, the balance holds. Either way, the cycle has closed. From 10 at night to 7 in the morning, your body has moved through a precise sequence of restoration and preparation. Quietly, faithfully, without asking anything of you. And as the day begins, the calm of the night remains present within you, carried forward, steady and intact, into whatever comes next. Even after your eyes open and the day begins, sleep does not end all at once. A quiet residue remains, subtle, physiological, and deeply influential. This lingering state is not imagination. It is a measurable continuation of the night's work, shaping how your body and mind respond to the morning. In the minutes after waking, brain activity does not immediately resemble full daytime alertness. Electroencephalography studies show a gradual return of beta activity, layered over slower rhythms that persist briefly into wakefulness. This overlap allows cognition to restart gently, without abrupt demand. The autonomic nervous system remains balanced during this window. Parasympathetic influence does not disappear instantly. It fades slowly, preserving calm, while sympathetic readiness increases. This overlap protects against sudden spikes in heart rate, blood pressure, or stress hormones, supporting a smooth transition into activity. Hormonal systems also maintain continuity. Cortisol has risen, but it does not overwhelm. Melatonin has declined, but trace levels still circulate, contributing antioxidant effects and circadian stability. Growth hormone effects continue at the cellular level, completing repair processes initiated during sleep. In the brain, synaptic recalibration completed overnight influences perception and decision-making now. Neural networks operate with reduced noise and improved efficiency. Attention feels clearer, not because effort has increased, but because unnecessary connections were pruned during sleep. Emotion regulation benefits immediately. The amygdala remains less reactive, while prefrontal control is restored. This combination supports measured responses rather than reflexive ones. Situations that might have felt overwhelming the day before now register with less intensity. The body also carries forward metabolic alignment. Insulin sensitivity is improved. Glucose regulation is more stable. Muscles respond efficiently to movement. These effects are not conscious, yet they shape how energy is experienced throughout the morning. Memory systems show subtle advantages. Information consolidated overnight is more accessible. Learning capacity is enhanced. Cognitive flexibility is improved, allowing problem solving without rigidity. Even posture reflects the night's influence. Muscles that repaired during sleep support upright position with less strain. Joint stiffness is reduced. Movement feels coordinated rather than forced. This residue of sleep is time-limited. As the day progresses and external demands increase, waking physiology fully takes over. But the quality of this transition matters. When sleep is uninterrupted and complete, the residue is stable and supportive. When sleep is fragmented, this window is shortened or distorted. The body does not announce this state. It simply operates within it. Those first minutes and hours of the day are quietly shaped by what happened overnight. You are not starting from zero each morning. You are continuing from restoration. The night does not vanish when you wake. It leaves structure behind in chemistry, in neural balance, in emotional tone. And as you move into the day, this quiet residue carries with it the evidence of deep rest, subtly guiding your responses, your energy, and your sense of steadiness long after sleep itself has ended. The influence of the night extends far beyond the hours spent asleep. From morning until evening, the physiological choices made during sleep quietly shape how the body performs, adapts, and recovers throughout the day. This is not metaphor. It is biology unfolding over time. When sleep has been deep and complete, the nervous system operates with greater flexibility. Stress responses are proportional rather than exaggerated. The sympathetic system activates when needed, then releases efficiently. Parasympathetic tone remains accessible, allowing recovery between demands. Cognitive performance reflects overnight organization. Attention is sustained more easily. Memory retrieval is smoother. Mental fatigue accumulates more slowly. These effects arise from synaptic recalibration and metabolic cleanup completed during sleep, not from effort during the day. Emotional processing remains more stable. Experiences are less likely to trigger disproportionate reactions. The brain's emotional centers have already integrated prior experiences, reducing the need for constant regulation. This stability supports resilience, patience, and clarity. Physically, tissues repaired overnight tolerate stress better. Muscles respond efficiently to load. Connective tissues maintain elasticity. Micro-injuries are less likely to accumulate. This reduces the long-term cost of movement and activity. Immune function also benefits throughout the day. Cells that recalibrated during sleep respond appropriately rather than excessively. Inflammatory responses are targeted. Recovery from minor stressors is improved. Metabolic regulation remains aligned. Appetite signals reflect true energy needs rather than hormonal imbalance. Blood sugar stability supports consistent energy rather than peaks and crashes. These patterns are established overnight and expressed during waking life. Even cardiovascular health is shaped by sleep. Blood vessels that rested overnight maintain flexibility. Heart rate variability remains higher, supporting adaptability. Blood pressure regulation benefits from the nocturnal dip that occurred during rest. Importantly, these effects accumulate. One night of sleep influences one day. Repeated nights shape weeks, months, and years. Chronic disruption gradually alters these systems, while consistent restoration reinforces them. The body does not separate night and day. It treats them as parts of a single cycle. What is restored at night is used during the day. What is expended during the day is repaired at night. Understanding this cycle changes nothing immediately. There is no action required. Sleep already knows how to do this work. From 10 at night until morning, systems aligned, repaired, recalibrated, and prepared. During the day, those systems express what was built. And as evening returns again, the cycle will repeat, not as an obligation, but as a continuation of balance refined over time. The night shapes the day. The day sets the stage for the next night, and within this quiet rhythm, your body moves steadily, patiently, and intelligently, healing, adapting, and restoring itself, one full cycle at a time. There is a reason the body chooses the night for its most important work. This preference is not cultural, psychological, or learned. It is biological, encoded deeply within the structure of human physiology. When darkness arrives and activity ceases, the body enters a state of trust that is difficult to achieve during daylight hours. During the day, the nervous system operates in a world of uncertainty. Even in calm environments, the brain must remain prepared for interruption, movement, sound, and social interaction. This constant readiness consumes energy and limits the depth of repair that can occur. At night, that uncertainty diminishes. Signals from the environment decrease, and the brain's threat detection systems quiet naturally. This reduction in uncertainty allows the nervous system to lower its defensive posture. The sympathetic system steps back, and parasympathetic dominance becomes stable rather than intermittent. This stability is essential. Many restorative processes require sustained calm, not brief moments of relaxation. At the cellular level, nighttime provides optimal conditions for maintenance. Lower metabolic demand reduces the production of reactive byproducts, while repair enzymes operate more efficiently. Cells prioritize accuracy over speed, correcting small errors that would be costly if allowed to accumulate. The brain benefits uniquely from this trust. Consciousness, which consumes significant energy, is largely suspended. Without the need to construct narrative, interpret stimuli, or maintain self-awareness, neural resources are redirected inward. This allows large-scale synchronization and cleanup that cannot occur during wakefulness. Hormonal systems also rely on nighttime trust. The coordinated release of melatonin, growth hormone, and prolactin depends on the absence of stress signals. Even mild alertness can disrupt this cascade. Darkness and stillness communicate safety more reliably than conscious relaxation ever could. The immune system responds strongly to this environment. When the body trusts that injury is unlikely, immune resources shift away from immediate defense and toward long-term regulation. This includes tissue repair, immune memory refinement, and reduction of unnecessary inflammation. Importantly, this trust is not fragile. The body does not require perfect silence or absolute stillness. It requires predictability. Regular timing, reduced stimulation, and the absence of threat signals allow trust to emerge gradually, night after night. This is why consistency matters more than perfection. A familiar night rhythm reinforces biological confidence. The body learns that restoration will not be interrupted, and it invests fully in the process. When sleep is disrupted repeatedly, this trust erodes. Repair becomes incomplete. Systems remain partially defensive. Over time, this leads to imbalance, fatigue, and reduced resilience. Not because the body fails, but because it no longer feels safe enough to let go. The night, when allowed to remain stable, restores that trust automatically. No instruction is needed. No technique is required. Darkness, reduced demand, and time are sufficient. The body does not argue with the night. It listens to it. And when trust is present, healing follows quietly, not as an event, but as a natural consequence of safety, stillness, and time unfolding without interruption. Beyond repair and restoration, the night serves another essential role. It preserves memory, not only of experiences, but of balance itself. Sleep does not merely store information. It stores patterns of regulation, teaching the body how to remain stable in a changing world. During waking life, the brain is constantly learning. Sensory input, emotion, movement, and decision-making reshape neural connections moment by moment. Without consolidation, this learning would remain unstable, vulnerable to interference. Sleep provides the structure needed to stabilize what matters and release what does not. Memory consolidation during sleep is selective. The brain does not preserve everything. It evaluates experiences based on relevance, emotional significance, and future utility. This evaluation happens outside awareness, guided by neural replay and synaptic modification. At night, the hippocampus communicates with the cortex in rhythmic patterns. Information is transferred from temporary storage into distributed networks, allowing memories to become integrated rather than isolated. Emotional tone is adjusted, separating meaning from intensity. But memory during sleep extends beyond events. The body also encodes physiological memory, patterns of regulation learned through repeated cycles of rest. Heart rate variability, hormonal rhythms, immune responsiveness, and stress recovery are all reinforced through consistent sleep. Each night teaches the body how to return to balance. These lessons accumulate. Over time, the nervous system becomes more efficient at releasing tension, the endocrine system more precise in timing, and the immune system more accurate in response. This is why regular sleep creates resilience that persists even during stress. The body remembers how to stabilize itself. It has practiced this return hundreds, then thousands of times. Disrupted sleep interrupts this learning. Without repetition, regulatory memory weakens. Systems become reactive rather than adaptive. Recovery takes longer. Balance feels harder to reach. The night also preserves emotional memory in a unique way. By processing experiences without stress hormones, the brain learns how to remember without reliving. This supports psychological flexibility and emotional distance. Importantly, this memory is not conscious. You do not recall how your nervous system learned to calm itself. You experience the result: steadiness, clarity, adaptability. The night is therefore not passive time. It is active education. The body studies itself, refining responses, improving efficiency, and reinforcing balance through repetition. Each complete night strengthens this memory. Each interrupted night weakens it slightly, but the system is forgiving. Trust can be rebuilt. Rhythms can be restored. The body remembers how to remember. And as the cycle continues, night after night, the quiet intelligence of sleep preserves not just experiences, but the capacity to remain whole, regulated, and resilient across time. The night does not forget you. It teaches you how to return to yourself again and again and again. Healing is rarely the result of a single night. It is the accumulation of many ordinary nights that arrive on time, unfold without interruption, and are allowed to finish their work. Around this understanding, the body organizes long-term recovery, not as a dramatic event, but as a gradual return to balance that strengthens with repetition. Each consistent night reinforces circadian alignment. The brain's master clock learns when to release hormones, when to lower defenses, when to clean, and when to prepare for waking. With repetition, these signals become precise. Timing sharpens. Systems stop guessing and start trusting again. The nervous system benefits first. Repeated nights of uninterrupted rest train autonomic flexibility. The body becomes better at shifting between states, alert when needed, calm when safe. Stress responses become shorter. Recovery becomes faster. The baseline moves closer to equilibrium. At the cellular level, consistency allows repair processes to complete their cycles. DNA repair mechanisms, protein turnover, and mitochondrial maintenance require time across nights, not hours within one. When sleep arrives predictably, cells are not forced to choose between incomplete tasks. They finish what they begin. Inflammation also responds to repetition. One good night may reduce inflammatory markers slightly. Many good nights re-educate immune signaling altogether. Chronic low-grade inflammation softens. Tissue sensitivity decreases. Pain thresholds may improve without intervention. Metabolic systems recalibrate through pattern rather than intensity. Appetite hormones relearn their rhythm. Insulin sensitivity improves gradually. Energy availability becomes steadier. These changes emerge quietly, expressed during the day as reduced crashes and improved endurance. The brain's regulatory memory strengthens with consistency. Emotional processing becomes more efficient. Stressful experiences are integrated faster. Rumination decreases, not because problems vanish, but because the brain remembers how to release them. Sleep also restores trust in the body. When nights are predictable, the nervous system stops bracing for interruption. It invests fully in repair. This trust is foundational. Without it, healing remains partial. Importantly, consistency does not require perfection. The body tolerates variation. What it needs is reliability. Nights that usually arrive on time, environments that usually remain calm, rhythms that usually repeat. Over weeks and months, these patterns reshape health trajectories. Risk factors soften, resilience increases, recovery becomes the default rather than the exception. The body does not track streaks, it tracks averages. And with each steady night, healing compounds, quietly, patiently, and sustainably. Sleep is often treated as a tool, something to optimize, control, or fix. But biologically, sleep is not a mechanism to manipulate. It is a partner, a cooperative state that responds best to respect rather than pressure. When sleep is pursued forcefully, the nervous system senses effort. Effort implies urgency. Urgency implies threat. This undermines the very conditions sleep requires. In contrast, when sleep is allowed, invited rather than demanded, the body responds with cooperation. The night works best when it is trusted to do its job. Darkness, reduced stimulation, and time are sufficient signals. Techniques can help, but they are secondary. The primary requirement is permission to disengage. Biology does not ask for performance. It asks for space. Space from stimulation. Space from evaluation. Space from narrative. Within that space, sleep unfolds naturally. This partnership is forgiving. Missed nights do not erase progress. Disrupted cycles can be restored. The body remembers how to sleep even after long interruption. It does not hold grudges. It responds to opportunity. Viewing sleep as a partner changes the relationship. There is no need to chase perfect sleep. There is only the invitation to show up regularly and allow the process to continue. The night does not require belief. It requires presence, then absence. When you stop trying to sleep, sleep begins to happen. And across this partnership, night after night, the body continues its quiet work, restoring balance not because it is forced, but because it is finally free to do so. As the cycle continues beyond this night, beyond this listening, the rhythm remains available. 10 in the evening will come again. Darkness will return. The body will recognize the signal. And when it does, the partnership resumes, calmly, reliably, and without demand, carrying healing forward, one ordinary night at a time. Safety is not an idea the body understands through words. It is a pattern learned through repetition. Each night that unfolds without disruption teaches the nervous system that it is allowed to stand down, to release vigilance, and to invest fully in restoration. Over time, this learning becomes embodied, automatic, and deeply reliable. During the day, the nervous system continuously evaluates risk. Even in calm situations, it remains partially engaged, scanning for unpredictability. At night, when stimulation decreases and movement stops, the brain receives a different set of signals. These signals are not interpreted intellectually. They are absorbed physiologically. When nights are consistent, the body begins to anticipate safety. Parasympathetic activation no longer needs to overcome resistance. It arrives earlier, more smoothly. Heart rate slows sooner. Muscle tone softens faster. Breathing deepens without delay. The system does not wait to be convinced. This learning occurs in the brainstem and limbic system, not in conscious thought. Structures such as the vagal nuclei, hypothalamus, and amygdala recalibrate their thresholds. Over time, they require less evidence to allow rest. The body becomes more willing to let go. Sleep architecture also responds. Transitions into deeper stages become more efficient. The time spent in slow-wave sleep stabilizes. REM cycles organize themselves more predictably. The night becomes structured without effort. At the cellular level, safety allows prioritization. When the body trusts that it will not be interrupted, repair processes proceed to completion. Inflammatory signaling remains low. Energy is invested inward rather than held in reserve. Healing is no longer rushed. Emotional systems benefit in the same way. Repeated nights of regulation teach the brain that emotional processing can occur without consequence. Feelings are integrated rather than avoided. Emotional tone stabilizes across days. Importantly, this learning is bidirectional. Just as consistent nights teach safety, disrupted nights teach caution. Fragmented sleep reinforces vigilance. The body learns to remain partially alert, even in darkness. Repair becomes incomplete. The good news is that safety learning is reversible. The nervous system remains plastic. With repetition, trust can be rebuilt. The body does not punish, it responds. This is why gentle consistency matters more than intensity. There is no need to force long nights or perfect routines. What matters is repetition, showing the body again and again that night is predictable. Eventually, this learning becomes internalized. The body begins to feel safe more easily, not only at night, but during the day. Stress responses soften, recovery quickens, baseline calm increases. The body does not need reassurance. It needs evidence. And each uninterrupted night provides that evidence quietly, steadily, teaching the nervous system what safety feels like. Until letting go becomes the default rather than the exception. Behind every night of sleep is a form of intelligence that does not think, plan, or decide. It observes patterns and responds accordingly. This intelligence does not belong to the mind. It belongs to the body itself, a system refined through time, repetition, and adaptation. This intelligence coordinates thousands of processes simultaneously. It times hormone release to the minute. It balances neural excitation and inhibition. It synchronizes organ systems that never communicate consciously. All of this happens without awareness, guided by feedback loops rather than intention. Sleep is one of its most complex achievements. No single structure controls it. The night emerges from cooperation between systems: neural, endocrine, metabolic, immune, each responding to the same environmental cues: darkness, stillness, time. When conditions align, sleep unfolds. When they do not, the system adapts. It delays, fragments, or lightens rest to protect against perceived risk. This is not failure. It is intelligence choosing safety over depth. Understanding this reframes sleep difficulties. They are not signs of weakness. They are signs of protection. The body remains alert because it believes alertness is required. When the environment becomes predictable again, this intelligence responds. It lowers defenses. It deepens rest. It resumes its full cycle without complaint. This intelligence is patient. It does not demand immediate results. It accumulates change gradually through repetition. Each night is another data point, another signal, another opportunity to recalibrate. The body does not need to be told how to sleep. It needs to be allowed. Techniques may assist, but they are not the source. The source is the body's own capacity to respond to safety and rhythm. This intelligence also ensures continuity. Even when nights are imperfect, the cycle continues. Repair resumes where it left off. Regulation adjusts. Balance is pursued, not abandoned. There is no final night of healing. There is only the continuation of the cycle. Night follows day. Day follows night. Each supports the other. This is why the process feels gentle rather than dramatic. Intelligence that sustains life over decades does not rush. It refines. As this understanding settles, there is nothing to apply, nothing to improve. The body already knows the pattern. It has followed it long before attention existed. 10 in the evening will come again. Darkness will return. The quiet intelligence will recognize the signal. And when it does, the cycle resumes, calmly, reliably, without instruction, carrying restoration forward, night after night, exactly as it was designed to do. Healing does not require attention. In fact, much of the body's most effective restoration occurs precisely because awareness has stepped aside. Even long after you believe sleep has ended, the physiological effects initiated during the night continue to unfold quietly, influencing systems that operate beyond perception. Within tissues, repair processes do not stop at waking. Cellular programs activated during deep sleep continue running into the early hours of the day. Proteins synthesized overnight are still being folded, transported, and integrated into structures that support strength and resilience. DNA repair pathways complete their final checks, ensuring genetic stability before normal metabolic demand resumes. In the nervous system, recalibration continues. Synaptic changes established during sleep are stabilized during early waking, allowing learning and emotional processing to consolidate fully. Neural circuits operate with reduced background noise, conserving energy and improving signal clarity. This stability supports attention, creativity, and emotional regulation without effort. The immune system also carries forward its nighttime work. Cells that adjusted their sensitivity overnight remain in this balanced state, responding appropriately rather than excessively to stimuli encountered during the day. This is one reason people often feel more resilient to stress or illness after periods of good sleep. Metabolic systems continue expressing the night's alignment. Insulin sensitivity remains improved for hours after waking. Energy utilization is more efficient. Appetite signals reflect actual need rather than dysregulation. These effects are subtle, but they shape behavior and well-being throughout the day. Importantly, these benefits do not depend on remembering sleep. They are not diminished by distraction or activity. Healing initiated at night is not undone by thought. It is carried forward automatically, embedded in physiology. Even when sleep is fragmented, partial healing still occurs. The body does not abandon repair because conditions were imperfect. It works with what it has, prioritizing essential tasks and resuming others when possible. This adaptability reflects a system designed for survival rather than optimization. Over time, the accumulation of these quiet effects shapes long-term health. Nights of restoration influence weeks of function. Weeks shape months. Months shape years. Healing becomes a trajectory rather than an event. There is no signal that announces this continuation. No sensation marks the moment when repair completes or regulation stabilizes. The body does not inform consciousness of its progress. It simply continues. This is why healing often feels invisible until it is missing. When sleep is disrupted repeatedly, its absence becomes noticeable through fatigue, reactivity, or imbalance. When sleep is present, its influence is quiet and steady. The night's work is not confined to darkness. It extends into daylight, supporting function without asking for recognition. Awareness is optional. The process remains. And as each cycle completes, the body carries forward what it has restored, ready to repeat the process again when night returns, healing quietly, continuously, without demand. There is no final chapter to sleep's work, because the cycle it sustains is continuous. Night and day are not separate events. They are phases of a single process, each preparing the conditions for the other. Healing, regulation, and adaptation move through this cycle without pause. When the body wakes, it does not leave sleep behind. It carries sleep within it, in balanced chemistry, in regulated neural tone, in restored tissues. Throughout the day, these resources are used, gradually expended, shaping how the body responds to movement, thought, and emotion. As daylight continues, demands accumulate, energy is spent, Signals are processed. Tension builds quietly. None of this is harmful. It is the natural cost of being awake. The body anticipates this expenditure because it knows night will come again. This expectation shapes physiology. The nervous system allows engagement because it trusts in recovery. Hormonal systems permit output because they anticipate rest. This trust is fundamental. Without it, systems would remain defensive, conserving energy rather than using it. Even when nights are disrupted, the cycle does not break. It adapts. Restoration may be incomplete, but it is not abandoned. The body continues seeking balance, adjusting timing, depth, and priority. Understanding this removes pressure. There is no need to achieve perfect nights. There is no requirement to optimize sleep as a performance. The cycle is resilient. It survives variation. What matters is continuation. Each evening offers another opportunity. Darkness arrives. Stimulation decreases. The body recognizes familiar signals. Even if sleep is lighter or shorter, the process begins again. This continuity is what sustains healing over a lifetime. Not a single night, not a single technique, but the repetition of cycles, day after day, night after night. The body does not evaluate progress. It continues the pattern. When conditions allow, healing deepens. When conditions are imperfect, healing persists at a slower pace. Either way, the cycle moves forward. As this understanding settles, effort becomes unnecessary. The body already knows how to move through these phases. Attention can step aside. Control can loosen. Night will return. The cycle will resume. Healing will continue. Not because it is forced, but because it is built into the rhythm of being alive, steady, patient, and always in motion, carrying balance forward through time, one quiet cycle after another. As the day slowly unfolds and eventually gives way to evening, the body does not arrive at night as a blank slate. It carries with it a physiological memory of how the previous night unfolded. This memory is not conscious, not emotional, and not narrative. It is regulatory, stored in the tone of the nervous system, the timing of hormones, and the responsiveness of cells. Throughout the day, your body continuously references this memory. If the previous night allowed deep, uninterrupted rest, baseline tension remains lower. Heart rate variability stays more flexible. Stress hormones rise and fall efficiently rather than lingering. These patterns are subtle, but they influence how easily the body will release vigilance when darkness returns. The nervous system, in particular, learns from repetition. When nights reliably provide restoration, the brainstem and limbic system adjust their expectations. As evening approaches, parasympathetic pathways activate earlier. Muscle tone begins to soften sooner. Breathing deepens with less resistance. The body does not wait to be convinced. It anticipates safety. Hormonal systems also rely on this memory. Melatonin release becomes more precisely timed when prior nights followed a predictable rhythm. Growth hormone secretion aligns more efficiently with deep sleep phases. Cortisol suppression at night becomes more reliable. These adjustments occur gradually, shaped by patterns rather than single events. At the cellular level, memory of rest influences readiness for repair. Cells that consistently complete their nighttime maintenance cycles require less emergency intervention during the day. Inflammatory signaling remains lower. Oxidative stress accumulates more slowly. This creates a physiological environment that welcomes the next night's work rather than resisting it. Even the brain's sleep architecture is shaped by prior nights. When recent sleep was restorative, transitions into deeper stages occur more smoothly. The brain does not hesitate at the threshold. It recognizes familiar conditions and moves forward with confidence. When sleep has been disrupted repeatedly, the opposite occurs. The body approaches night cautiously. Vigilance lingers. Repair processes delay their initiation. This is not failure. It is memory expressing caution. The system protects itself until predictability is restored. The important truth is that this memory is always updating. One good night can begin to shift it. Several consistent nights reinforce it. The body does not require perfection. It responds to trends. As evening arrives again, signals accumulate. Light decreases. Activity slows. The body compares these cues to its stored patterns. If they match what it recognizes as safe, the descent into rest begins earlier and with less friction. This is why sleep often improves not suddenly, but gradually. The body must relearn trust. It does so through experience, not instruction. Night after night, this memory is rewritten. Each complete cycle strengthens it. Each interrupted cycle softens it slightly. But the system remains plastic, capable of adapting at any point. When the body remembers rest, it no longer resists it. It welcomes it. And as darkness returns once more, this quiet memory guides the system gently inward, preparing it to repeat the cycle, not as an effort, but as a continuation of balance learned through time. Eventually, evening arrives again. Light fades. Sounds soften. Movement slows. Without ceremony or announcement, the conditions that invite rest begin to assemble. This return to darkness is not the start of something new. It is the continuation of a rhythm already in motion. The body senses these changes before the mind does. Photoreceptors in the eyes register diminishing light and relay this information to the brain's master clock. Hormonal signals begin to shift. Melatonin production prepares to rise. Cortisol prepares to fall. The transition begins quietly, without requiring attention. Muscles that carried you through the day begin to release their hold. Postural tension softens. The jaw loosens. Breathing gradually deepens. These changes are not commands. They are responses to familiarity. The body recognizes the pattern and follows it. The nervous system compares the present moment with its stored memory of previous nights. If recent cycles were stable, the descent is smooth. Parasympathetic pathways engage with confidence. If cycles were disrupted, the descent may be slower. Vigilance may linger. Either response is appropriate. The body adapts to what it knows. Emotionally, the mind may still carry traces of the day. Thoughts may surface. Images may replay. This does not interfere with sleep. These are the final expressions of waking consciousness, gradually losing structure as the brain prepares to disengage. Physiological systems begin reprioritizing. Digestion slows. Energy is redirected inward. Repair processes begin organizing themselves in anticipation of the night ahead. Cells prepare their maintenance schedules. Neural circuits prepare for recalibration. There is no requirement to intervene. The body does not need guidance. It needs only the space to complete its transition. Darkness and reduced demand provide that space naturally. As night deepens, the familiar sequence begins again. Alertness, yields to calm. Thought yields to sensation. Sensation yields to stillness. Each phase arrives in its time, guided by rhythms refined over countless repetitions. This cycle does not demand belief or understanding. It unfolds whether it is observed or not. The body has performed this descent thousands of times before. It knows the path. 10 o'clock approaches. The internal conversation quiets. Systems align. The body prepares to turn inward once more. Nothing needs to be achieved tonight. Nothing needs to be fixed. The cycle does not judge the previous day. It simply continues, offering another opportunity for restoration, regulation, and balance. And as darkness settles fully, the body steps into the night again, carrying with it the memory of rest, the intelligence of rhythm, and the quiet assurance that healing does not require effort, only time and the freedom to let go. The night begins again. The cycle resumes, and within this gentle repetition, the body continues its work, patiently, reliably, and exactly as it was designed to do. As night settles in again, the nervous system begins a familiar quiet negotiation. Throughout the day, it maintained readiness, adjusting posture, filtering sound, regulating emotion, and responding to countless small demands. None of this was harmful. It was necessary. But as evening deepens, those same systems begin to reassess the environment, looking for cues that signal it is safe to release their guard. This reassessment does not happen in thought. It happens through sensation. Reduced light decreases stimulation to visual pathways. Slower movement lowers proprioceptive input. Fewer sounds reduce auditory demand. Together, these changes communicate predictability. Predictability to the nervous system is the foundation of safety. Parasympathetic tone begins to rise again. Signals traveling through the vagus nerve increase in consistency, not intensity. The body does not force relaxation. It allows it. Heart rate slows slightly. Breathing deepens without instruction. Muscle tone softens where it is no longer needed. Importantly, this softening is selective. The nervous system does not shut down entirely. It remains responsive, but not vigilant. This balance preserves protection while allowing restoration to begin. The body chooses flexibility over rigidity. Within the brain, activity in regions associated with monitoring and evaluation decreases. The prefrontal cortex begins to disengage from constant oversight. Thoughts may still arise, but they carry less urgency. They are observed rather than pursued. Emotion regulation follows the same pattern. Feelings are present, but their intensity is reduced. The brain no longer amplifies emotional signals. It prepares to integrate them later during sleep, without activating stress responses. Physiologically, digestion slows again. Blood flow is redirected away from skeletal muscles and toward internal organs. Energy is conserved. Repair systems begin assembling their resources in anticipation of the night. Hormonal signals respond to these shifts. Melatonin production prepares to increase as light exposure continues to decrease. Cortisol release slows. The endocrine system aligns with circadian timing rather than external demand. This stage of the evening is not dramatic. It often goes unnoticed, yet it is essential. Without this gradual softening, the transition into sleep would be abrupt and inefficient. The nervous system requires time to release its guard fully. When evenings are predictable, this process becomes smoother over time. The body learns to recognize the cues earlier, Softening begins sooner. Resistance decreases. The descent into rest requires less effort because effort is no longer involved. When evenings are unpredictable, vigilance lingers. The body remains partially engaged. Sleep may still occur, but its depth is compromised. This is not failure. It is protection responding to uncertainty. The solution is not control. It is consistency. Repetition teaches the nervous system what to expect. Over time, expectation becomes permission. As the evening continues, this softening deepens. The nervous system does not announce its progress. It simply shifts state, responding to the environment it perceives. You do not need to relax. Relaxation is already happening. And as the guard lowers once more, the body moves closer to the familiar threshold, the place where waking life gently yields, and the night's restorative rhythm takes over again, quietly preparing the way for another full cycle of rest. Eventually, the familiar threshold appears again, the subtle boundary where wakefulness begins to loosen its grip. The body recognizes this threshold not as a destination, but as a signal. It has crossed this line many times before. Each crossing has taught it what comes next. This recognition is immediate and unconscious. Neural circuits associated with alertness begin to downregulate automatically. Sensory processing loses priority. The brain no longer seeks new input. It turns inward, guided by internal rhythm rather than external stimulation. The thalamus increases its filtering role. Sounds fade into background noise. Visual processing diminishes. Sensory information still arrives, but it is no longer interpreted as meaningful. This allows awareness to withdraw without vulnerability. Within the cortex, neural firing patterns simplify. Networks that supported multitasking, planning, and self-monitoring reduce connectivity. Slower rhythms begin to dominate. Thought loses structure. Attention drifts. The autonomic nervous system completes another shift. Parasympathetic influence stabilizes. Sympathetic readiness recedes. Heart rate settles into a slower rhythm. Blood pressure lowers gently. Breathing becomes deeper and more regular. Muscle tone decreases again, particularly in areas that worked hardest during the day. The body seeks stillness. Gravity feels supportive rather than demanding. The surface beneath you becomes an anchor rather than a boundary. At the biochemical level, sleep pressure builds. Adenosine accumulates, inhibiting wake-promoting neurons. Melatonin levels rise, reinforcing circadian alignment. Together, these signals reduce the likelihood of sustained wakefulness. Emotionally, the mind becomes quieter. Concerns lose urgency. Narratives fragment. The brain prepares to process these experiences later during sleep, without reactivating stress. This threshold is not fragile. It does not disappear if attention wanders. It remains present, inviting disengagement without force. Crossing it does not require intention. It happens when conditions allow. When the body recognizes this threshold, it does not hesitate. It begins the descent automatically. Each phase follows the next, guided by internal timing refined across countless nights. Nothing new is required tonight. Nothing different needs to be done. The body remembers this passage. It knows where it leads. It trusts the sequence that follows. And as the threshold is crossed once more, awareness loosens, sensation softens, and the night opens again, welcoming the body back into the quiet rhythm it knows so well, where repair, regulation, and restoration unfold without effort, exactly as they always have. As the night deepens once again, the body moves into a state of familiar stillness. This stillness is not emptiness. It is organization without motion, activity without effort. The systems that carried you through the day have stepped aside, allowing quieter processes to take their place. Neural activity continues to slow and synchronize. Large populations of neurons fire together, then rest together, creating wide, gentle waves across the brain. These patterns reduce energy demand and allow repair mechanisms to operate with precision. The brain is not idle, it is coordinated. The autonomic nervous system maintains steady parasympathetic dominance. Signals from the brainstem keep heart rate slow and efficient. Blood pressure remains low and stable. The cardiovascular system enjoys prolonged periods of reduced strain, supporting vascular health and long-term resilience. Breathing becomes deeply rhythmic. Inhalations and exhalations follow a predictable pattern, guided entirely by the brainstem. Oxygen exchange remains efficient, while energy expenditure stays minimal. There is no awareness of breathing because awareness is no longer needed. Muscle tone reaches another low point. Postural muscles fully release their daytime effort. Limbs feel heavy, supported, and still. This physical surrender conserves energy and allows connective tissues to relax and rehydrate. Fascia softens, microtension dissolves. Inside the digestive system, activity is minimal. Peristalsis slows. Energy is conserved. Nutrients absorbed earlier are redistributed to tissues that require repair. The body has shifted fully from processing the external world to maintaining the internal one. Hormonal signals remain aligned with rest. Melatonin circulates steadily, supporting circadian stability and antioxidant activity. Growth hormone pulses continue, reinforcing tissue repair and metabolic balance. Cortisol remains suppressed, protecting restorative processes from interruption. Within the immune system, regulatory pathways dominate. Cells patrol tissues calmly, identifying damage without triggering inflammation. Old cells are cleared. New ones are prepared. Balance is restored quietly, without sensation. The glymphatic system continues its slow circulation. Cerebrospinal fluid moves through widened channels, carrying away metabolic waste from neural tissue. This process unfolds gradually, supported by the stillness of deep sleep. There is no sense of time. There is no awareness of place. Consciousness has receded entirely, leaving physiology to operate without interference. This absence is not loss, it is efficiency. This phase of the night feels the same each time because it is designed to be stable. Variation would interfere with repair. Familiarity allows systems to complete their work without hesitation. Nothing here depends on intention. Nothing requires permission. The body recognizes this depth as home territory, the place where it can release all remaining vigilance and devote itself fully to restoration. And as this deep stillness continues, the night holds everything gently in place, allowing healing to proceed at its own pace, uninterrupted, unobserved, and precisely aligned with the rhythms that sustain life. As the long quiet stretches onward, restoration reaches completion not with a signal, but with sufficiency. The body does not announce when repair is finished. It simply reaches a point where balance has been restored enough for the cycle to continue. Neural networks stabilize into sustained slow-wave patterns. the brain remains in its lowest energy state, conserving resources while completing final rounds of synaptic maintenance. Connections strengthened during the day have been refined. Excess noise has been cleared. Circuits are ready for reuse. At the cellular level, repair processes conclude their cycles. DNA integrity checks finish. Protein synthesis stabilizes. Mitochondrial efficiency improves. Cells return to baseline readiness, prepared to meet the demands of waking life without strain. Immune regulation settles into equilibrium. Inflammatory markers remain low. Surveillance continues at a steady pace. The immune system is neither alert nor suppressed. It is balanced. The endocrine system holds its nighttime configuration. Hormones that supported repair remain active just long enough to complete their work. Signals that promote alertness remain quiet. Timing is precise, preventing overlap that could disrupt rest. Cardiovascular parameters remain optimized for stillness. The heart maintains a slow, economical rhythm. Blood vessels remain relaxed. This extended period of low mechanical stress supports long-term cardiovascular health. Breathing remains deep and uniform. Carbon dioxide tolerance stays elevated, supporting cerebral blood flow without increasing heart rate. Gas exchange remains optimal, sustaining tissues without demand. Muscle stillness persists. There is no need for movement. The body remains supported by gravity rather than resisting it. Joint spaces decompress. Circulation remains sufficient without effort. Throughout this phase, there is no awareness of completion. The mind is absent by design. Healing does not require observation. It completes itself when conditions are right. This is the arc of restoration, not a peak, but a plateau. The body remains here as long as needed, guided by internal feedback rather than clocks or schedules. Eventually, preparation for transition will begin again, but not yet. For now, the long quiet holds steady. The night remains intact. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to fix. The systems that needed attention have received it. The balance that needed restoration has been restored enough. And as this arc completes, the body rests within its own sufficiency, supported by darkness, stillness, and time, ready to continue the cycle when the moment arrives, carrying forward the quiet work of the night into whatever comes next. As the night approaches its final phase, it does not end abruptly. It loosens. The body senses this change not as a command to wake, but as a subtle easing of depth. The calm remains intact, even as the grip of deep sleep softens. This is a carefully regulated transition, designed to preserve restoration while allowing readiness to return. Neural rhythms begin to diversify again. Slow wave activity remains present, but lighter oscillations appear intermittently, creating brief windows of flexibility. These windows allow the brain to adjust without abandoning rest. The architecture of sleep becomes more layered, less uniform, but no less protective. The thalamus adjusts its filtering gradually. Sensory input remains muted, yet the threshold for awareness lowers slightly. Sounds, if they occur, are registered as distant events rather than ignored entirely. This responsiveness ensures safety without reactivating vigilance. In the autonomic nervous system, balance shifts delicately. Parasympathetic dominance remains strong, maintaining calm, while sympathetic pathways regain just enough tone to support future movement. Heart rate remains slow, but its variability increases. Blood pressure stays low, but responsiveness improves. The system is preparing without engaging. Hormonal patterns mirror this adjustment. Melatonin remains present, but begins a slow decline. Cortisol remains low, but shows the earliest hint of its morning rise. These changes are timed precisely to avoid overlap that could fragment sleep. The endocrine system coordinates timing rather than intensity. Body temperature stabilizes near its nocturnal low. It does not rise yet. Instead, it holds steady, preserving enzymatic conditions optimal for ensuring that repair processes complete fully before transition. This pause is intentional. Rushing would compromise restoration. Within muscles, tone remains minimal. There is no call to move. Yet neuromuscular pathways regain sensitivity, ensuring that when movement eventually occurs, it will feel coordinated rather than heavy or stiff. Joint spaces remain decompressed. Circulation remains sufficient without effort. The brain's waste clearance systems continue their final passes. Lymphatic flow slows slightly, but remains active, completing the night's cleanup rather than initiating new cycles. Metabolic debris is reduced to baseline levels, restoring neural efficiency. Emotion regulation remains steady. Stress-related neurotransmitters stay low. Emotional memory networks are quiet. There is no emotional rehearsal or narrative. The mind remains free of content. Consciousness does not return yet. There is no awareness of transition. The body conducts this adjustment entirely beneath perception, guided by internal feedback loops refined across evolution. This phase is essential because it preserves continuity. Without it, waking would feel abrupt and disorienting. With it, the transition remains smooth, protecting the nervous system from shock. The night, even as it loosens its hold, does not withdraw its support. Calm remains the dominant state. Restoration remains complete enough. Preparation remains gentle. And as this soft release continues, the body stays suspended between depth and readiness, still asleep, still protected, while the cycle prepares quietly to turn once more, exactly on its own time. Eventually, the cycle reaches completion, not through an ending, but through continuity. The night does not conclude with a line drawn between sleep and wakefulness. Instead, it hands balance forward, transferring stability from darkness into the coming day. As readiness increases, neural systems regain coherence. Communication between brain regions strengthens. Awareness becomes possible without urgency. Sensory processing resumes priority gently, ensuring that the environment can be perceived without overwhelm. Hormonal rhythms finalize their transition. Melatonin continues its decline. Cortisol reaches levels sufficient to support alertness without stress. Growth hormone effects persist at the cellular level, completing tissue repair initiated earlier. The endocrine system achieves alignment rather than contrast. Body temperature begins its gradual ascent. This warming supports metabolic readiness and muscle responsiveness. The change is subtle, experienced as comfort rather than stimulation. Enzymatic activity shifts smoothly from repair toward function. The cardiovascular system completes its adjustment. Heart rate and blood pressure rise just enough to support posture and movement. Blood vessels respond with flexibility, preserving efficiency and reducing strain. Breathing becomes consciously noticeable again, not because it changes abruptly, but because awareness returns. The rhythm remains calm. The chest and abdomen move with ease. Oxygen delivery supports alertness without urgency. Muscle tone returns progressively. Strength feels available rather than demanded. Coordination improves. Movement becomes possible without stiffness or resistance, reflecting the night's successful repair. Cognitively, clarity emerges without effort. Attention becomes available. Memory retrieval is efficient. Emotional tone remains balanced, carrying forward the regulation achieved overnight. Stress responses remain proportional rather than automatic. Importantly, the body does not reset to zero. It begins the day already aligned. The night's work remains embedded in physiology, shaping responses long after sleep has ended. This completion is not final, it is transitional. The cycle closes only to open again. What was restored will be used. What was expended will be repaired again when night returns. There is no instruction required to maintain this rhythm. The body knows how to carry balance forward because it has practiced this cycle countless times. 10 in the evening will arrive again. Darkness will return. The signals will be recognized. The descent will begin once more. Until then, the body moves through the day, supported by what the night has provided: stability, resilience, and quiet regulation. The cycle does not end. It continues. And within this continuity, healing remains available, not as a destination, but as a rhythm that repeats itself gently, reliably, and intelligently, night after night, day after day, carrying balance forward through time exactly as it was designed to do. You don't need to follow anything now. There is nowhere to go, nothing to remember, nothing to finish. Your body already knows this rhythm. It has moved through the night, carefully, patiently, without effort. And now, it continues on its own. Breathing is slow, steady, easy. Muscles remain soft. The mind does not need to hold shape. Thoughts can thin out and fade, like mist dissolving into morning air. You are safe now. There is nothing required of you, nothing expected, nothing waiting. If sleep is already here, let it deepen. If you are still drifting, let the drifting continue. Either way, the cycle carries you. You are safe now. Drift away, drift away. The night remains with you, quiet, steady, and complete, as awareness gently loosens and rest continues on its own.